Welcome to Stepping into Shakespeare. We're here today with Tanya Windsor, who played Mariah in our production. So thank you for being here, and thank you for joining last minute into the production and bringing your talent and energy to our work.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's been lovely getting to know all of you. So yeah, and I just think that we all sort of, when it needed to come together, we all came together. So
exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Yeah. And just to ask you a bit about your background, how did you start off as an actress?
Well, when I was 9, I went to like a ballet boarding school. And then at 11, I went to sort of like a school that did all the different arts. And then I went to Royal Ballet School when I was 16 to 19.
Wow.
And then when I was in a ballet company, I remember doing a dance class at Danceworks. And
that's in London.
That's in London. And someone sort of spotted me and said, you know, would you go and audition for this film? And so I had to go to Paris, and there was about 5 auditions, and I got right down to the end and got the part and went to Paris. Yeah, it was amazing, except for actually the film didn't get finished, which was very, very sad. But I remember at the time someone said, you know, your dance scene's absolutely, you know, that's my vocation or whatever. But they said, once you finish dancing, you should go into acting, because you've got to, you know, you're good at acting as well as the dancing. And so I auditioned for drama school, and I was successful. And my whole thing was that to be a proper actress, then you should be able to do Shakespeare. And my experience with drama school was very rounded, but I still felt I needed to work on, you know, all the text work and voice work. And so when I finished drama school, I worked in prisons, taking Shakespeare to prisons.
Oh wow, that's fascinating.
And then there were lots of sort of Shakespeare groups where it just meant that all 38 plays that you could read and just get your mind around and your tongue around, and it's just
exactly.
It just gives.
And how did you got introduced to Shakespeare in the drama school? Was that the first time?
No, it was before that. I think I went to drama school because I thought, in order to be taken seriously and maybe get jobs, it was best to go to drama school. That's not necessarily the case, but that's how I felt. I went to the Royal Ballet School, and I felt, I needed to go to a top drama school as well. And yeah, before I even went, I was sort of doing Shakespeare. I think what introduced me to Shakespeare is that when I was actually dancing, someone asked me to do the choreography for Romeo and Juliet, because there's a couple of dance scenes in there. And so then I think I did a couple of lines. And then before I went to drama school, the whole canon of the 38 plays, Clive Brill, who's a great producer and director, actually, he's done many a radio play. And to begin with, he just allowed me to sort of sit and watch the recordings of everything. Then
was it a radio play?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was all 38. They did all the 38.
That's like a lot.
I know. And, and he very kindly let me sit in all 38. And but
what an introduction to Shakespeare.
So I think that was my introduction to Shakespeare. So I just sort of sat in the booth, because you had a booth then. It's very different to what we recorded yesterday. And then he said, "Oh, Tanya, would you like to do..." It was only small parts, like one of the ladies from Winter's Tale, and I can't remember the other one, but it was a couple of parts. And, you know, it was all, you know, Samantha Bond. I met Sir John Gielgud.
Oh, amazing.
It was his last play.
How lucky you are.
And he was playing time. Wow. And someone said to him, you know, but they said, "Oh, do you want to eat by yourself?" Because he's a sir and he was in his 90s. And he said, "No, what gives me joy is being with the other actors."
Amazing.
And I remember I had this first folio, because when you first start off doing Shakespeare, you know, you're holier than thou. And I said to him, "Please, could you sign my Shakespeare first
incredible.
folio.
Wow.
I never ask anyone for their autograph because I think we're all, if we're blessed with intelligence, then, it shouldn't make you any more superior than someone anyone else. So I've never used to ask anyone for their autograph, but Sir John Gielgud,
that's amazing.
That's the one autograph I've got. And, I'm very, very happy to get it. So yeah, that probably was my,
Wow. Nice introduction.
Yeah, that is a very, very nice introduction.
And all there was some amazing actors, Greg Wise, and just all the actors that you have gone on and their careers have just flourished.
Yeah.
I was sitting listening to.
Fantastic. And are these plays, are they still available or are they in
I think so. They're Archangel. And back then they were on tapes.
Oh, yes.
I have all the tapes. Wow. And I sometimes still listen to the tapes.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. So yeah. And
interesting.
Then, but, I just think, Shakespeare's just a continual learning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, where you're from or anything like that. Some people are fortunate enough to start Shakespeare when they're 6 years of age, but the rest of us aren't. And so you're playing catch up the whole time. You should never feel that you can't get there. It's just just playing, just exploring. And, what little bit of knowledge you get, you just keep on adding to it, keep on adding it. And at the end of the day, if it just means that you're just a little bit more, aware of what's on the page for yourself, then that's already something that you can say when you're 70. I have read these plays over and over again, and every time I read them, I get more relaxed. And I understand what's on the page. But a lot of it is archaic, and some of the jokes. Like Feste and Twelfth Night. It's not, it's not that accessible. And and also in Winter's Tale, Autolycus, some of the stuff he says, needs to be brought up to date if you choose to go that way. But
very interesting. And obviously, to segue into Twelfth Night, how was your experience with Maria?
Yeah, Mariah's a wonderful character because she's not stupid.
Yes.
I'm not saying that I'm not stupid, but she certainly is not stupid. And what a gift to be given that part. So, thank you for allowing me to read it.
We were just talking with George, and he was saying how Mariah is basically in charge of the household.
Yes, and she has to
It's not Malvolio, it's Mariah, and it's true, isn't it?
She's I think she completely dictates all the characters. So she, even Olivia, she's sort of saying, there's a young guy at the gates, he's sort of good looking and he's well attended. And then she's got Sir Toby Belch, and she's saying, look, why are you hanging around with a loser? He might have money, but he's got no sense and he's going to lose it a year later. So, get yourself together, stop drinking so much. You're a funny man, you've got money.
She sees through all the other characters, actually.
She sees
and then she can play them.
But what's quite nice about her is that, she is forceful. She does have an edge to her. But she also has, as you say, the foresight of seeing through everyone. And that's what Shakespeare's so good at is, about the human soul. Yeah. And I think her soul is good.
Yes.
But she's not stupid. And she is actually marrying above her status.
Yeah,
she does. You're right.
She marries above her status, and so she's, she loves Sir Toby, but she's not stupid. Like every wife should not be stupid. That you take on someone, and you take on all their good points, but you also take on all the stuff that you may not want to take on, and it's that ability to appreciate all the good points and all the bad points. And so, she may be a lady in waiting, but I think she's got a life cut out with Sir Toby, but they're a match for one another.
Yeah.
He's very, very funny. He makes her laugh. she makes him laugh. And literally out of everyone, everyone gets married or they're about to get married.
Everybody does.
But I think those two are a great match.
They are.
Because they will make each other laugh. And if you can make each other laugh, then hopefully you won't cry too much.
Very true.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I just love the way that, like, those scenes are so funny with Mariah and Sir Toby and, the singing and there's the caterwauling and they're just, every time I hear them, I just laugh. They're just such
And I mean, that's quite cruel joke she comes up with.
Yeah. She's forgotten the word for it, but she doesn't suffer fools.
Yes.
She does not. And Andrew Agu Cheek is a fool.
Yeah.
He's been married, not the person that was playing it, because he's absolutely lovely. But,
not Tim.
Not Tim. But, and she doesn't want to waste her time with wasters. She knows what she wants. She wants to get married to Toby. She wants to keep a house in order. She's capable of keeping a house in order, even with Malvolio around, who is enough to wind anyone up. But she still manages to have a sense of humour. So if I was to take something about it that, even if you want something, try and do it with some kind of humility, because you never know, where the other people are coming from, like
exactly.
Andrew Agu Cheek is actually trying to get Olivia, and he's never going to get her. And Viola is,
she's shipwrecked.
Exactly. I mean, thinks that she's going to go off with a woman in the end, let alone Sebastian in the end. But
and how did you feel reading it with the text? Was it kind of difficult for you, the Old English, or you felt that's something you're interested to analyze and learn the rhythm?
It's interesting because you can do your own homework. But then for modern audiences, just because you know what you're saying, like the Buttery Bar is a bar that was in a wine cellar, just above a wine cellar, and you could drink.
Wow.
So, the literal translation is, come on, drink yourself stupid. But there's also another connotation, which is a sexual connotation, or that kind of dry hand.
Yeah,
so
I think there were some jokes which were very...
So the dry hand is, so the way Matt wanted me to play it was, take it to the Buttery Bar, If a woman is excited, she's excited. And if she's not excited, then she's dry, isn't she? And so, it's also a play on that, you're dry. And then the second dry is the fact that, it's just a dry joke. Don't worry about it, Sir Andrew Agu Cheek. So you have to do your homework, but you have to be open enough that if someone, obviously it was a sexual joke, so obviously everyone is going down that path. But if there are slight different ways of interpretation, then you have to be open to that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's really good.
So, yeah.
And did you have like a favorite line?
In Twelfth Night or
in reading Mariah? Or something you really enjoyed saying this joke, or was there something you really enjoyed saying?
Or even in another character, if it's just something in Twelfth Night.
I mean, all Mariah's lines, are great because she has a journey. She's going from, sort of keeping the house in order to, having a relationship with Sir Toby. I don't know when their relationship started, but the fact that they run off and get married suggests that they are having a relationship, which to be able to manage that and not lose your job.
Yes, exactly.
Shows that
it's quite risky at the time, probably to do that.
But I love all the lines like, stop all this caterwauling.
Yeah, that's
and it's a dry joke. Yeah. Don't kind of worry about it. And pretend, dress up as a topaz.
Yes.
Put on a beard, and that's it, and a gown. And then she says, oh yeah, you didn't need to put on a beard and a gown because he can't see you anyway. It's like sort of the recording that we are doing now. It doesn't matter what we look like, but you can still be Sir Topaz. So yes, all of those. But I think one of my favourite lines in Shakespeare is from King Lear, nothing comes from nothing. And so I just find Shakespeare so inspirational because he just says it so much better than I could ever say it. And just that line, nothing comes from nothing. Sometimes we get out of bed and it's like, why should we go for a run? Why should we bother to, make an effort? Make an effort, even what you guys are doing or our little team is doing. Why make the effort? Because nothing comes from nothing.
That's amazing.
That's nice.
And every time, I sort of question anything, I go, nothing comes from nothing.
Wow, I love that.
And so that's my favourite line now. I'm sure when I first started out, it was, something like to be or not.
I mean, there are so many.
There are so many.
But I feel I should say a really funny line.
No. I mean, and I guess that's also the richness of these plays. Whenever in life, maybe at one time, you get touched by this character or then later on by another scene. I
mean, I'm doing Winter's Tale at the moment.
Yes.
And playing Hermione. And, what's so amazing about her is that, she's a queen and she loves her king very much. And, at the point where he's saying to her, you're an adulteress. And she's going, but I've got your child. And he's saying, right, I'm going to kill you. And anyway, she loses her son.
Yeah.
She loses her daughter, so she thinks, Perdita. Oh, yeah, that's another favourite line. Until what is lost is found. So the name Perdita, which is her daughter, means lost, her doom.
Okay.
And at the end of the play, Perdita is found. And so they all get together as a family 16 years later. And lots of people say, oh, why does Leontes, why is he so angry? And then I found the other day that the interpretation of friend back in Shakespeare's time can either mean friend or it can mean lover.
Wow.
Okay.
So as soon as she says, I've done it because, this is someone you went to school with. He spent 9 months with us, and to do it, to not be gracious with your, school friend would be, disrespectful of me.
Wow.
And, but I consider him my friend. And he's like, too hot to mingle.
It's so funny because I just read that play recently. Really? Yeah, for the first time. So
and after having worked with so many times with all these different plays, what would you say to a young actor or actress coming to Shakespeare and has maybe a bit a respect or a shyness to work on Shakespeare? How would you encourage them?
I would just say that, try not to force things.
Yeah.
And just really listen to as much as you can of other people speaking it, hearing it, and just be very, very humble because everyone's got a different take. Sometimes it's not correct. Sometimes it is. And, you can do it many different ways. You can do it in heightened ways. You can do it in conversational ways. You can do it in modern ways. You can do it in Elizabethan ways. And, just be open to learning and hearing what other people present to you. And just be open and just get fascinated. It's not so much the stories because they can be plagiarized, but sometimes just looking at a section and, it doesn't matter what mood in. If you want to be, happy, then you go to Twelfth Night because it was done as a
comedy.
Yes, as a comedy for the 12th day, I think, of
Christmas.
12th
night after Christmas.
That's the 12th holy night.
That's right. A Midsummer Night's Dream, and they're just so wonderful and quite light, and there's not too many plots and twists. And everyone goes, "Oh, Shakespeare's too dramatic." It's not actually about the stories. You can find passages within it. It reaches the human soul. So I would suggest that you read it, even if you don't understand it, because there'll be something in it that will attach itself to, your character, your soul, or, maybe about marriage, maybe, about, I don't know, going to a foreign country that you've never been to and speaking a different language and, having to fit in and things like that. It's all there in Shakespeare. Absolutely. Many of these characters are coming from different countries to a new country, and they've got to try and fit in. And I think that makes it very relevant today, because we're, even more today, we're just moving from London to LA or from, Switzerland to London, or, I've just got back from Africa. We're all moving, the whole thing. And the whole time it doesn't matter where you go, you will find a human connection with people in the country that you've chosen to spend your time with. So I would just read it. And then obviously there's lots of interpretations. Sometimes I would also say, don't necessarily get caught up on what scholars say, because they are not actors. And sometimes you can get so overwhelmed by what a scholar says, but they actually never stand up on stage and deliver the lines. And they're doing it from, an academic academia world. So your thing is get up there, talk it, speak it out, breathe, let it rest inside you, and just get passionate on different sections in it, and just get fascinated about it. And that it's just like anything. I'm hopeless at computers. I'm good at Pilates and yoga. I love Shakespeare. The more you do, the better you get at it. The more knowledge you have, and that knowledge you will just pass on to other people. So just keep at it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. And it's been a real pleasure. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.